up, you guys? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Now, we have to talk about the Sixers. What a disappointment that was. Also, Reggie Miller had some really bad advice for the Nets, and we're going to dive into that in just a second. But before we do, subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @JRayTheFanatic. It's Thursday. Sadly, Devin is not going to be with us tomorrow, but we're still going to do fan or foe in her absence. So make sure you get your little comments in. I don't know what y'all are going to say. Sometimes y'all are nice, sometimes you're not. But whatever, either way, we're gonna rock with it. So make sure you get your comments in, ask us any questions, say anything enlightening. We'll read it off tomorrow.
Yep, and I will tune in and see how that all goes. I'll see exactly what you guys are saying. Hopefully nothing too mean. But yeah, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. As a reminder, we have Kevin Pryor, who is an active member of our chat, coming in to host the show with Jackie so I can take a day off. It'll be my first day off in like a very long time. I don't remember the last day off I took, so this is going to be, I'm kind of excited about it, but I will, of course, miss talking to you guys tomorrow. I'll be back on Monday, so that's exciting, and I'm going to be missing you guys. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, doesn't it?
It does. My dad, this is a funny anecdote he used to have when my mom would say, oh, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and he would always say, depends on who you are. It might make it wander.
Imagine I come back and I'm like, oh, stay mad. I missed you so much. We are so mean to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, we do love you. We love you sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to get into the news. Let's dive right in. So the 76ers had such like complete and total control over Game 5 against the Hawks on Tuesday night that a lot of people were just willing to kind of change the channel. They were like, okay, it's in the bag. It's no big deal. But things ended up getting pretty interesting. And also, I guess the more accurate word for it is mortifying for the Philly team. So they led the Hawks 85-61 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. And they also had a 70-44 lead earlier on in the quarter, but then they lost the game, which just seems wild with a lead like that. How do you lose that game? The final score was 109-106, and now that means the Hawks have a 3-2 series lead. Just let's look at these numbers for a second. So the Sixers led by 14 after the first quarter, and then they led by 22 at halftime. Then they got outscored 40-19 in the fourth quarter. They blew a 26-point lead, and that was tied for the third largest blown lead in a playoff game over the last 25 postseasons. 25 postseasons. That's insane. No one scored in the second half besides Joel Embiid and Seth Curry. And it makes you wonder, like, what really went wrong here? Because they have 3 defensive all-team players on their team, and still Atlanta managed to score 40 in the second half. It's a pretty embarrassing loss. It's a loss of epic proportions, I think is the best way to describe it. So how do you think the Sixers are feeling right now? Do you think that they are extremely embarrassed? Are they motivated? Are they feeling kind of depleted and like they've lost a little bit of hope? What do you think, Jackie?
I don't think they're feeling depleted, but they should feel embarrassed. I think what I saw was something that they kind of felt they had it in the bag. They had 15 turnovers yesterday. 10 of those came in the second half. So whatever, I always talk about teams making adjustments during the half. I don't know what the hell they did in the half. I don't know if they went in there was having shots. I don't know what they were doing, but they came out looking horrible in the second half. It was one of those things. I was literally driving from Long Beach while this game was on, and I low-key had it, playing in the background. So every time I hit traffic, I could glance over. It got to the point where I was like, I don't need to do this. They got this, And so I just went and drove safely. And then by the time I get home, I think there was like maybe 3 minutes left in the game, 3.5 minutes left in the game. And I was like, this is not the same game that I was listening to on the freeway. This is a totally different game. You don't blow that kind of lead. It just doesn't make sense when you have Ben Simmons, and we'll talk about this more in the post-up, but Ben Simmons was completely embarrassing. He did nothing. And for only Joel Embiid and Steph to score in the second half, where is the urgency for everybody else? Where is the desire to step up? How does that happen? This is not a regular season game where you can be like, oh, we can relax. It's not that big a deal. You're trying to close out a series. And it's a game that you definitely should have won. And I don't like how Ben Simmons was kind of, I don't want to say Giannis-like, but he was very kind of just, oh, we didn't do quite what we were supposed to, but we'll get him next time. I don't like that because this isn't a get him next time situation. This is a what the hell happened right now situation. That shouldn't have happened. When you go into the half, you're supposed to make adjustments, come out even stronger in the second half. I understand sometimes teams are playing depleted or they're having struggles that might carry them through the whole game. Atlanta could have easily come out looking exactly like they did the first half, but they went in there, they stayed with it. You have to kind of give Atlanta their credit. I definitely don't think Atlanta outplayed the 76ers as much as I think the 76ers beat themselves, but they stayed the course, and they did what they were supposed to do, and they capitalized on the weakness of the 76ers, which this whole thing was embarrassing, though. You got 10 turnovers in the second half. You only had 5 in the first. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
I didn't understand it either, and it was just a big shock to everybody. I see people in the chat saying, yeah, I shut off my laptop, I stopped watching. I have friends who are diehard Sixers fans, and they also felt like, oh, okay, this is a shoo-in. Right. The win's ours. It's not even a question. So for them to completely blow that lead and then lose was just so unexpected. So now let's talk about what's up next for the next game in this series. Do you think Atlanta's going to be taking home the win, or do you think the Sixers are going to be kind of fueled by this embarrassment and go at it with a little bit more focus and a little bit more intensity?
I mean, that's an excellent question, simply because what I saw from the 76ers in the first half, I would have said that the Hawks were going to get smoked. And now I have to look at the 76ers and try to make a guesstimation as to how they're going to act in this next game. I have no freaking idea, because I didn't expect them to act this way in this game. I expected them to close this out. I would be livid if I was a 76ers fan. It just doesn't make any sense. I would assume this next game they're going to completely do unto to the Hawks as they should have done in yesterday's game. But I'm just, it's one of those situations. And they're in ATL on Friday. This is probably one of the first times where I don't have like a definite prediction. And it's this game. It's yesterday's game that's throwing me off, because there's no way. If you'd asked me, I mean, even before the game started, I would have said, this is definitely the 76ers game to win, So I don't know. I'm definitely going to stick to my original prediction and say the 76ers are going to win, just because I can't explain last night. Like, I don't even understand what happened. If I had a solid reason as to why last night happened, then maybe I could change my prediction. But I don't know what happened last night. I don't know.
I don't think anybody knows. I think it was very confusing, but it does make me feel like I'm just kind of wondering if at this point in the playoffs, they're just feeling kind of tired. I mean, we're actually going to be talking about this in the post-up, some tweets that LeBron made about the condensed NBA schedule and how it is affecting players. So maybe it's just kind of like, maybe these athletes are just getting kind of worn down, and maybe that's what's happening here. I mean, that's my best guess as to what went wrong last night. But it'll be interesting to see how their game on Friday plays out. It's I don't really know what to say. I feel like right now the wisest thing for us to do is say the Hawks are going to be walking away with the win in that one, just because they do have the series lead and the Sixers looked so miserable last night. But maybe I'll be surprised. I don't really know. Before we move on to our next Need to Know news story, I know, Jackie, you had something that you wanted to bring up about Chris Paul, right?
Yeah, and the thing, I know we said this yesterday, that Chris Paul, he's officially tested positive for COVID. So I was looking into all the things as to how this could happen, and I know he was with family. I don't have a lot of details outside of that, but this pisses me off. And the reason why is because what is the one thing I always say about Chris Paul? He is a stickler for rules, and he knew all these protocols that were in place. And you, at this moment in time, we talked about Alex Caruso didn't even go to his sister's wedding in the bubble because he didn't want to risk it. He didn't want to risk not being able to play. And Alex Caruso is not one of those key members of the team. Chris Paul is a key member of the team, and he didn't put his team first. And I get it, he's a family man or whatever. But at bare minimum, if you're going to be hanging out with your family, you should be wearing your mask at all times. I still don't know if he was vaccinated or not. And to be clear, you can still get it if you are. So I don't know where he's at with that, or if he did get it, if he did. I don't know, because none of that has been disclosed to us. But the point is, even if he was vaccinated, he still should have taken extra precautions to make sure that he didn't expose himself to COVID. I'm so disappointed in him, because we have been, I feel like Tyra Banks, we were all rooting for you. And you go out there and you put yourself in this position, and now you put your team in this position. Your team had their best chance of winning with you, and you just wanted to go out and be all willy-nilly and overlook these protocols. For what now? I'm so disappointed in Chris Paul. I just had to take a moment and let y'all know that, because this is the guy that will snitch on everybody if they're not following the rules. You had one job, follow the rules for another month. That's it. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, I think it's a disappointment for his fans, for his teammates. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild to consider what happened, especially when we were just celebrating, you know, the team making it to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in a long time. Also, I know you wanted to do a quick shout out to Paul George, right?
I did. Paul George. Now, Robert Parker, you know, sometimes he talks shady, but he put out this whole survey on his social media that it's a Paul George apology letter. So you can check what box you fall in. I'm not making any apologies to Paul George, but I will say this. I was very, very proud of him. Y'all know my braids is inspired by Paul George, but I was very, very proud of him for stepping up in this moment, because we've seen him struggle. We've seen him disappear in easy moments. And this would have been an easy moment for him to disappear in. This would have been an easy moment for him to be like, you know what, Kawhi's not here. Everyone's expecting us to lose. Let me not be my playoff P self. And he didn't. He went out there and he handled himself. I was very, very proud of him in that moment. I still want the Clippers to lose. I don't want y'all to get this twisted. But I was very proud of him as an individual player in that moment, stepping up and owning who he is as a player. I thought it was dope.
Jackie, you're like, I like you, but I hate you at the same time.
Exactly. You're my frenemy. You're a frenemy.
Yeah, exactly. He is the ultimate frenemy. I mean, look, yeah, neither of us are big Clippers fans over here, but, or Clippers fans at all. I wouldn't even say big Clippers fans. We are not Clippers fans at all, but it is worth acknowledging how well Paul George did, especially without Kawhi with him. Okay, let's move on. I want to talk about this Reggie Miller advice that he had for the Nets. So, so after the Nets defeated the Bucks on Tuesday night to pull ahead 3-2 in this series, Reggie Miller asked a question on his Twitter account that got a lot of negative reactions from people. He's focusing on the strategy here. So he tweeted, I'm just going to throw this out there and see what the responses will be. If you're Steve Nash and the Nets, would you sit James Harden and Kevin Durant in Game 6 because of the heavy minutes tonight and push all your chips to the center of the table for Game 7? Now, we know that KD played all 48 minutes in that game against the Bucks, and it was the first time since LeBron had done that in 2018. It was a heavy physical game for him in terms of how much time he put on the court. I mean, he didn't take a break for a single second. But fans obviously could not understand this thinking at all. Isaiah Thomas actually responded to the tweet, and he said, Reggie, no, that would not be smart, OG, LOL. The brand Velveeta that makes the mac and cheese wrote, yeah, mac and cheese. They wrote, oh, shall no, Reggie. And then, and then I had to include that one. I thought that one was funny. And then others were saying it was the worst take in Twitter history. Twitter will ensure he never has a head coaching job. Someone else mocked him, writing, hey, so would you guys throw Game 6 away? So really, what kind of thinking is this? And before you answer this, Jackie, we have always been proponents of players kind of limiting their minutes within reason when they're playing, just to preserve their health, not to tire themselves out, especially with a guy like LeBron. But is Game 6 in the second round of the playoffs the time to be sitting KD and James Harden? Where do you think Reggie Miller was even coming from with this sentiment?
The bottom of a bottle. That's the only place I think he was coming from, because I don't know how you get to this point where what? I didn't actually look when I saw this headline on the rundown. I was like, I'm not even gonna read this because I know this is gonna be something asinine. I just want to see how bad I react to this. But this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So look, kids, what you don't do. Let's have a mini. What we not gonna do. What we not gonna do is be in a situation where we need to win and we sit our best assets to do that and hope they rest and give the other team the momentum. So then we put ourselves in a must-win situation. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. You never want to put yourself in a must-win situation. You always want to give yourself as much leeway as possible in case something crazy happens. You want to make sure you have that possibility. Now, if they go in there and lose and they're in a must-win situation, that's a different situation. But you don't want to lose on who loses on purpose. Oh my God, Reggie. He will never ever be a head coach. One day he might apply for it and somebody's gonna be like, you remember this tweet? Explain this. There's no way. I don't even have like some enlightening statement to say about what he could possibly be thinking. He wasn't thinking.
I agree 1,000% on that one, because it's like, now KD maybe doesn't necessarily have to go out and play all 48 minutes again, but to sit him and James Harden both, no, that's a ludicrous idea. It's honestly probably one of the wildest takes I have ever heard. Maybe KD could play 36. It doesn't have to be 48, but this is not the time to be sitting the two best players when you're already down Kyrie, who was supposed to be there making this super team, the super team of all super teams. Completely wild.
I would limit. I don't even see. And this is just one of those things that you have to play by ear. Do I think that KD should play another 48 minutes? Absolutely not. But I think that's one of those things you got to kind of gauge it. You got to see what's happening. I'm always going to settle around the 38, 36 minute mark as far as what your star athlete should play. Now, that's KD. When you're talking about James Harden, one of the things that I've always said is there's a ramp up. You don't usually, I mean, we've seen those fluke situations, but usually you don't come back onto the floor and you're playing at 100%. That's not usually how that goes. So if you're going to truly limit minutes, you limit James Harden's minutes, but you don't not play him. And the reason why you don't not play him is because you might need a game 7 and you need that ramp up to happen in game 6. He can't be ramping up in game 7. So there's no way that you do not play either of these. Now I get it. Let him mentally get prepared for that big game if that's a need be. So maybe you limit James Harden's minutes, but no, both y'all about to play. Let me just coach. Let me be the coach for a second. Both y'all gonna play. Do what you need to do to figure that out.
Jackie, can you step in for Steve?
I mean, Steve, I don't know if I'll be hugging KD the way Steve hugged KD. So I don't know if they'd want me because I'm not gonna be like, please don't leave me, God. Please don't leave me. Please don't. That's not the hug I'm giving KD. So.
It's so funny. Okay, so then Jackie, before we dive into the post-up, what is your prediction for the Nets versus the Bucks for their game tomorrow?
I'm taking the Nets on this one. I don't know. I have lost all faith in Giannis. I think he's gonna go out there and further embarrass himself, and I think that that's gonna be one of our need to know news. Like, what does Giannis need to do with his life next? I think that's gonna happen after the game tomorrow. So, yeah. Nets. I got the Nets winning this one.
Okay, and so do I. I've had the Nets. I think there was a moment where I was like, maybe the Bucks are taking this, but not. I think it's going to be the Nets as well, especially just seeing how KD like floated through that last game and was like this golden god of basketball. I mean, that was wild. So I think that if he's keeping that energy alive, it's for sure still going to be the Nets. Okay, well, let's get into the post-up. We have a lot to cover, so Jackie, take it away.
Yes, let's get into this post-up. Let's revisit this tragedy that was the 76ers last night. This is crazy. You guys, let me show you this this first tweet, because this is the stats before game started. So with 2.10 seconds left in the third quarter, the 76ers were up 24 and had a 99.7% chance to win. That might as well be 100. That's why people started turning off the game, because they were like, oh, they're for sure going to win. Okay, so that was with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third quarter. Fun fact, with 4 minutes and 23 seconds left in the game, they had a 97.5% chance. So it did drop a little, but it didn't drop that bad. But there's no way you should lose the game, and this is your percentage of possibly winning. And of course, people started clowning like almost immediately because this fan, now look, this is the second quarter. It's 4 minutes, 57 seconds left. Look at the score, 52-31. I mean, if somebody had texted this to me, I probably wouldn't even watch the second half either. This person says, feels good to be on the other side of a choke. I mean, I bet it does, but this is just embarrassing. These are things that should not happen. Of course, Ben Simmons got a lot of the flack for this. And I think he deserves every piece of this. This person says, Ben Simmons tonight, 8 points, 4 shot attempts, 4 for 14 from free throws, 9 assists, a lot to Embiid and Curry, and he's let Trey heat up. He let Ice Trey heat up. Are we sure we're not fighting for? Look, Ben Simmons needs to take a lot of the blame. If you saw Undisputed, Shannon Sharp said that he deserved 70% of the blame, and then Joel deserved 20, and he gave the rest of the blame to everyone else. I mean, I guess I kind of agree with that because that's just a lot. People should say they could have. Even right now, who they are could have outperformed Ben Simmons. I have this other tweet that this person basically says, I'm older. He says, I'm 36 and out of shape. There's virtually zero chance I'd only hit 4 or less free throws given 14 shots. That's facts. And then this guy said Trey had Simmons in jail. And this is one of those things that I just don't know. I don't know what to say about Ben. This next user says that Ben Simmons should really think about doing something that I say we all should do occasionally, and that is stay off of social media. He says, if I'm Ben Simmons, I'm staying off Twitter for a few days. I just saw someone compare him to Reggie Jackson. That's uncomfortable. I just don't know. I looked up what Ben Simmons had to say about this. He had one very simple phrase. This was very Giannis-like to me. He says, we didn't play the way we should have been playing. We should really try to level up for this next game. That's all you got to say. Those are your stats, and that's all you got to say. I don't like it. Devin?
I mean, I don't like that either, but I sort of feel like, what is he going to say in this situation? Like, but what I want to know from you, Jackie, is if they end up having this second round exit and they do kind of just have this miserable blow up, what do you think is going to happen for them next season? Is it time that we stop trying to force this Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons duo? You think it's time to separate them?
That is exactly where my thought process went last night, because I've been a big proponent of this. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons should work. This matchup should work. They should be this fire duo. I've said that over and over and over again. And when you look at it on paper, it should work. Regardless of what should be happening, this is not working. You can't keep trying to make this work if it's not working. I've been fighting hey, let's break this up. Let's break this duo up. I know that's been a narrative that's been out there for a long time, but if they don't come out of this series, I'm going to jump on that train. It's going to be time to separate these two, and maybe they'll have better success, because I've said that before too. Sometimes when you get in a different situation, it sparks something different in you and you have a little bit more success. But if they do not, especially if it's a situation like what we saw where Ben Simmons just goes missing in the second half, now you got to break this up. Sorry. And I don't know what that means. Go ahead, Devin.
I remember when we were talking about this last, I think it was during the off season, we were talking about whether it was time for them to separate. Are you still thinking that the Sixers need to hang on to Joel Embiid over, I mean, you were saying they should hang on to Ben Simmons over Joel Embiid, weren't you?
No, I was saying, I was saying they should ship out Joel. And that's just because they would get more, I think you get more value for him. And if you're really trying to level up, then, you want to get more pieces in there for Ben Simmons. But in this specific case, now we're seeing a totally different Joel, and Joel has literally he's sparked them in some way that Ben Simmons just not. He's kind of become the Giannis of that team. So now I'm switching that up completely, and I'm saying you keep the guy that is working his butt off to be there, and you let the guy that has not improved in a very specific area of his game the entire time he's been in the league. You just have to realize that this guy is putting in the work in practice, but he won't even come out and attempt to have that outside shot. And he just went missing in a very important series. So now I've switched. You ship out Ben. You'll get value for Ben as well. I just felt like you'd probably get more value for Joel, but now you keep Joel and you ship off Ben. Sorry, Ben. Sorry. but you gotta go, bro. All right, let's move on to this next one, because this next one it's one of those things where I knew LeBron haters were going to come for him in some sort of way. But here's the thing. We said this in the offseason before anyone else did. Every single sports talk show that I've seen have said this. So this is not, what LeBron is saying is not anything new. We said it on this show before LeBron said it. He ended up co-signing basically on what we said. So I'm gonna show you the tweets that he's saying. He's reiterating. He's basically saying, I told y'all so. He says, they all didn't want to listen to me about the start of the season. I knew exactly what would happen. I only wanted to protect the well-being of the players, which ultimately is the product and benefit of our game. These injuries isn't just part of the game. It's the lack of pure rim rest before starting back up. 8, possibly 9 All-Stars have missed playoff games, most in the league history. This is the best time of year for our league and fans, but missing a ton of our favorite players, it's insane. It's, if there's one person that know about the body and how it works all year round, it's me. I speak for the health of all of our players, and I hate to see this many injuries this time of year. Sorry, fans. Wish you guys were seeing all of your favorite guys right now. This is just the facts, guys. I mean, and I think the only way that you don't know this is if you've never competed anyway, if you've never tried to have some sort of fitness plan. This is something that's evident. And what did I say at the top of the season? The NBA had it so much easier because they could have looked at what the NFL did, and they could have looked at, taking away this preseason and how those injuries really impacted the NFL. They had this moment in time to get it right, and they didn't get it right. Of course, there was fans that, took that moment to say whatever they said about LeBron. This one guy said, there was this whole thing about, no, injuries are just injuries. And this guy responds, he says, I said the same thing. No matter how long the offseason was or wasn't, or how short the season is, or how long the season is, you're going to have injuries. It's unfortunate, but it happens in every sport. And I was so glad to see that there were so many people that actually got it, because he says, it just so happens there's a disproportionate amount of star athletes hurt in this one postseason. The one with the shorter off season, just happenstance, right? No, it's not happenstance. You can literally look at the numbers and tell that this is actually a problem. It's not just a thing. So I think I have one more tweet, and I was really glad to see this kind of exchange. He said, this is exactly the reason. Last year, NFL players didn't have a preseason games or OTAs, and guess what? A ton of people tore ACLs and got injured within the first 2 weeks. Yes, injuries happen, but not over an abundance like this. A short season is correlated with more injuries, aka overuse, especially in pro sports where the intensity is at an all-time high in your body. You still got time to delete false information on here. So that's the facts. I mean, LeBron is just stating facts. Everybody said, oh, he's just saying this because he's 36 now and he's older. Yeah, that's part of it. He's been playing this game for 18 freaking years, and he understands the importance of rest. This is, and it sucks because even though I want the Clippers to lose, let me reiterate, I want the Clippers to lose. But for me, even if they do lose, them losing without Kawhi, I still want to see Kawhi lose. I mean, I want to see him lose. I want to see, I don't want any excuses. I don't want to hear what if they had Kawhi? I want to see Chris Paul, even though this was his fault. But I want to see these players on the court. I wanted to see Jamal Murray playing. I wanted to see all this. And we're not seeing it right now because we came back too soon. I think this is a no-brainer. Devin, what do you think?
Well, I think that, I feel like what LeBron said in his tweets about the condensed season just putting a lot more pressure on these guys. But like for me, when I covered this story this morning, I see no lies. I think that the playoffs do look completely different right now. It is absolutely wild that we see Kyrie out with an ankle sprain. We see James Harden not looking 100% because of that hamstring injury. There's no Kawhi. I mean, that's pretty wild. And then also there was Luka Doncic was suffering from a nerve issue in the first round in his neck. And like, there's just a lot of things going on right now that I don't think can be just credited for being part of the game. So I think what LeBron said was 100% accurate. And in fact, we were saying the same kind of thing at the start of the season. Like, this schedule is going to be tough and it's going to be hard on these guys. We knew that going into this.
And so for you haters in the chat that are saying, of course we agree, fun fact, we said this first. Before, I think LeBron might have watched the fumble and been like, they damn right. Let me co-sign on what they say because we said this first. So it's just, if you guys don't understand how the body works, especially when you're playing at a high level, then I get that. But this is just facts. We knew it was going to happen this way. It's unfortunate, but we knew it was going to happen this way the second you came back this quickly. But let's move on to somebody that got out of the country like mad quick, because I was like, damn, he gone already? How did he leave that quick? But that's what happens when you got, your family in Serbia. Let me see, I had to slow it down there. But Joker is back in Serbia and he's doing family stuff. He's back on the farm. You guys, I had to post this first because I needed you to see this horse. It says Nikola Jokic is back in Serbia for the summer, living his best life. I need y'all to take a good look at this horse because I thought this was going to be something like over the top, like insane, like we're doing some sort of galloping races or what. No, y'all take a look. And he looks so happy. Joker looks so happy and content in this moment. Take a look. All I hear is that TikTok song weird. Dancing to the best. On and on we push. That's all I hear. That's all I hear.
Into the thick of it.
That way. That's all I literally. That clip, obviously I didn't play the whole thing. It is like 2 minutes and 8 seconds. That's why I love this next post, because I was like, let me scroll down because I was going to watch the whole thing. But I was looking for the spoiler to let me know if I should watch the whole thing. And so I love what this user posted. He says, for those of you checking the replies to find out, yes, the entire 2 minutes and 8 seconds of this video is him riding a horse like that. Just riding around. But the thing that I love about this video is how at peace he looks, how happy he looks to just kind of be in his own element. He's like, yeah. Like, I just feel like he's doing that. I don't know. In my head, I hear him singing that song. I could be totally wrong by that. But look, this diehard Nuggets fan, I love this. He says, if that stallion busts and Joker falls off his rickshaw and gets hurt, I will personally send that steed to the glue factory. And then look, the person got the horse like, wait, what?
Wait. I have a response. I will take the horse.
Okay, you'll save the horse from the glue factory?
Of course. I'm not letting that happen. No way. I'll take the horse from suburbia, rescue it from its tough life out there.
Right. Just on and on we push. Life if you're a horse, has got to be great for him right now. It's like, I'm just riding around with Joker. That's all I'm doing. I do have songs in my head like that all the time, you guys. Just so you know, I'm a little odd. But anyway, let's go into this next one. Usually I would play just a little clip of this, but this is one of those moments in time. Y'all know that Anthony Edwards for me is the rookie of the year, but that's just for me. That's not exactly what happened. But LaMelo is the rookie of the year. Congratulations to you, LaMelo. It's not that I didn't want you to win it. It's just I liked Anthony Edwards better. But the way that Miles Bridges surprises LaMelo, and he just feels like he's filming, something like he always does. A kid grew up in front of cameras. And he doesn't even realize what's going on. Miles has to be like, bruh, look. And then his voice goes up at the end, like, it's heavy. It's a door.
What's up, y'all? This is Miles Bridges. My boy Melo just won Rookie of the Year, but he don't know it yet. Watch this. Nice, ain't it? Oh, I think he's coming. Hold on.
I ain't got a lot of workouts. Hey, they was doing me today, man. They had me shooting a lot, playing a lot. I mean, weight room. So yeah, it was a great day at work. Great day of practice. Now I need speed a little higher. You feel me? 3-pointers could be a little higher. Pass and elite. Yeah, it's looking cool though. I ain't gonna cap. MB dunks though hard. I ain't gonna lie. I need the dunks. I need the dunks like mine.
Now the big question is, if you're gonna run a game with NBA Jam right now, which of these duos you going with?
You know. You ain't even gotta ask that question. Come on.
Man, you already know, man.
Let me get it. You feel me? I told you, the hardest squad here.
You mess with this shirt for real?
Yes, bro. I see MB with the MB.
You mess with this one, bro?
Oh, that's hard. Not this time.
It's tough.
Yes, sir.
What about this game? Huh? What about this game?
I told him, let me take some home. They ain't want to let me take nothing home.
You not even looking, gang.
Oh!
Congrats, brother. Rookie of the year, bro. Congrats, bro.
You already know it's on the
For sure, bro. Bro, this shirt hard, though.
Heavy. I mean, I loved every moment of that. He definitely seemed happy. I still feel like Anthony Edwards deserves it, but in that moment, I'm very happy for LaMelo. He seemed very, very happy. And okay, congratulations to you, sir. No hate at all. Just nothing but congratulations to you in that moment. And I love the chemistry that you and Miles Bridges seems to have. That's really dope. I love that. So, Devin, you got any thoughts on that? Because you know I did not want that man to win at all. Let me sip my tea. He did not.
I think that prior to LaMelo, I forgot there's the whole debate about Melo versus LaMelo.
LaMelo.
Okay, prior to LaMelo getting injured, I did think he definitely deserved Rookie of the Year. I mean, when you just looked at the stats alone, he was outperforming every single one of his rookie peers. But then, of course, we saw Anthony Edwards really kind of like pull through and make his mark. I don't know, I guess people are just remembering the start of the season where LaMelo really was the dominant player among all the rookies. I'm happy that it's like at least deserved on some level. It would have been nice to see Anthony Edwards walk away with that because he did play the full season. But, LaMelo, I think, does deserve it.
I'm not mad that he got it. Like I said, I just think, because the reason why Joel Embiid didn't get the MVP over Joker is because, he missed a ton of the games. If Joel had played the whole season, then he's hands down the MVP. So for me, if that's the situation that applies there, that's the situation that should apply here. Anthony Edwards should win it. Otherwise, it's just not consistent enough for me. But that's me. Either way, congratulations. I definitely like this moment in time watching him get it. So congratulations. But, Anthony Edwards, I can make you a shirt that says Rookie of the Year if you want. I mean, I don't have that kind of trophy, but, you still my Rookie of the Year. But let's move on to this next one because this next one hurts my whole heart. Because y'all see that headline. It says Tatum loses out on $33 million because of basically a technicality. And I feel like we really need to approach this. I shouldn't be losing out on money because of some weird rule. This doesn't make any sense. But if you look at the NBA stat leaderboard right now, Jayson is 10th in scoring. He's averaging 26.4 points in the regular season. He's 10th because KD and Kyrie were tied at 26.9 points. And we know how vital he was to the Celtics. I mean, that's just hands down. There's no question about that. But like the title says, he will miss out on $33 million. I want you to take a look at this tweet. Because this is basically saying because he can play different positions and he's versatile that he's missing out on this money. He says, interesting twist in the All-NBA voting. Tatum was eligible as a guard and forward and had more votes than Kyrie, who made the third team as a guard. But Tatum was slotted as a forward because that was the position where he received the most votes. So basically, he got more votes as a forward, but he got more votes than Kyrie as a guard. So I'm thinking, like, if you got more votes than Kyrie to make, but no, he was slotted in the area that he got more votes, even though the votes that he got as a forward didn't measure up to get him that spot. So now he's missing out on all this money, and I think that's jacked up. It's not fair, and it's the voting system. That's exactly what this next user says, and I totally agree with this. It says nothing to do with Kyrie. He's great, and that's true. I'm not saying that Kyrie should have been booted out, and Jayson, well, kind of I'm saying, I don't know. Either way, if the man got more votes than Kyrie, I think he should get that spot. But this guy says nothing to do with Kyrie. He's great. Nothing to do with Boston or Tatum either, but it's the rule on how to count votes for a single player that sucks. Tatum earned his spot because he has more votes. We need to address this. Like, this is the dumbest rule. A rule that's going to make me lose out on this kind of money needs to be addressed. Devin, I don't even know. Like, what? I don't. $33 million? And I got more votes and I should have been on a team. Like, I can't make this make sense. I can't make it make sense.
I can't make it make sense either. $33 million is a huge chunk of change to miss out on. And I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how they will get around this. What's the solution here? This feels very, very unfair for him. But like, what would be the solution to this?
So I don't freaking know. I'm guessing. So this is the problem with the way that we play basketball now, right? So everybody kind of plays every position. You switch off, you play what you need to play. Whereas I think back in the day it was easier because you were a point guard, you were a shooting guard, you played your spot. But that's not the kind of ball that we play right now. So since that's not this scoring system needs to be modified to adapt to the way that we're playing basketball right now. And guys are doing everything, literally playing every position on the court, unless you're Steph and you're just not big enough to play the 5. But everybody else is playing just about every single position. And there needs to be some kind of, and I don't even know, I'm not a statistician, so I don't even know how you would make that math make sense. So I get it, it's difficult. So what they're just saying is, okay, yeah, he got more votes than Kyrie here. So I don't know how many, let's say Kyrie got 5 votes. Ben Simmons got 10 votes. So yeah, so Ben Simmons, Jayson Tatum got 10 votes, but he got 20 votes in what was that, the forward position, but then whoever else got 25. So just because he got more votes in one category, that's the category you put him in. But I don't know how y'all would fix that, and I get it. I get that I'm not a statistician, so I don't know how you would make this make sense. But you got to figure out a way to make this voting system accommodate the kind of ball that these guys are playing right now. Because it just doesn't make sense this way. It's not fair. And $33 million, y'all need to sit down and have a conversation. So I don't lose out on this money. I'm so sorry, Jason, because that's got to sting, especially since it was out of your hands. But yeah, have a conversation, guys. All right, let's move on to this next one, because since we can't get Kawhi out on the court, we'll just get this old Kawaii video that shows once again how awkward he is. Take a look.
Kawhi, can I get a picture?
I got to shoot it.
How hard would it have been in that moment for Kawhi to just stop and take a picture? Now I got to shoot around. Like, why is he like this? I don't understand why he's like this. It's funny to me, but he's like, I got to shoot around. And he just said it all monitor. I got to shoot around. Okay. Okay.
Are we surprised?
That's all the guy can say. Like,
this is exactly how Kawaii is. It's like he wanted to be a pro basketball player, but he's like one of those guys that wins the lottery, but then they wear a mask when they go and sign for it because they don't want anybody to know. He wants to be the great basketball player, but he doesn't want anybody to know him. He doesn't want any recognition. I respect it about him. He needs to just play basketball with a mask on, I guess.
Oh yeah, make it like a gimmick or something. That would be hilarious. But of course, because when he did it, I was like, Kawhi, you took a beat to say I got to shoot around. You could have just taken 3 beats and taken the picture. How hard is that? But nope. Of course, people started speculating like what made Kawhi this way, and the speculations were hilarious. Somebody said, "Bro, what is wrong with him?" And then this one's funny. I heard he smoked a lace blunt and low-key fried him, and he ain't been the same. That's why he act like that. Now y'all putting him in the smoky category? Stop it. This next one went dark, though. I was like, these are all funny, and then here you go being dark. And he goes, I heard it was because his dad died when he was a kid, and ever since then, he'd been monotone. Mom said they were very, very close. That could be, but, okay, he's a grown man now. But this one nailed it. Junk Rocket, you nailed it with this one. He said, I heard that y'all need to just let that man live, bro. Stop speculating and gossip, you weirdos. Okay. I don't know what made Kawhi like that, but I do often wonder, why is Kawhi like this? So I'm going to stop wondering, and we're going to laugh together at this next one. I need everybody to prepare your giggles, because this is funny. Usually I'm not a fan of, laughing at, the people's aesthetics, because a lot of it they can't help. Most of the time you're laughing at things that people can't help. I am not a fan of that. This could be helped so we can laugh together, because people are saying Dwight Howard out here looking like some McDonald's French fries, and I see no lies detected. However, you guys are wrong. He is not trying to look like McDonald's French fries. He's trying to look like Wendy's French fries, and I have the clip to prove it. Take a listen.
So I am ready to go. The team is ready to go. And I hope you fans at home, it's go time, baby. I want my Frosty. Be loud, be proud, and go Sixers.
Now, unless I have mistaken and gotten my fast food things messed up, isn't Wendy's the one that got the Frosties? He's trying to get his Frosty. He is trying to advocate for Wendy's and get his Frosties by putting Wendy's French fries in his hair. Devin, am I right? Is it Wendy's that got the Frosties?
Let's Google it really quickly. I have not been to a Wendy's before. Yes, they do have the Frosty Dairy Dessert is what it's called. But you know what? I think he looks like, did you ever watch Rugrats growing up? Remember the doll that Angelica had?
Oh, yeah. People in the chat are like, who is Angelica? Y'all got to Google that. But Devin just nailed that one. Sometimes I wonder, Dwight has always done this with his hair, though. What goes into saying, I want yellow things sticking up every which way out my head? What's the thought process that goes into that?
You know, I wonder this with a lot of people. The Weeknd, for example, when he had his hair like that. And we talk about it with Cam Newton. Why does he wear his hair like that? I don't know what these men are thinking, but somebody needs to help them ASAP. And we would volunteer. We would go in, we would say, this is what Dwight's hair should look like. This is what Kyle Kuzma should wear to a game. We would be really helpful. They just don't have the right people surrounding them.
I think so. Somebody said in the chat, Kevin Lang said, you've never been to Kevin, she hasn't even had a Chick-fil-A. First of all, she's vegan. Second of all, I think it was just recently that how old were you when you had waffle fries from Chick-fil-A for the first time?
I don't think. Wait, have I had? Oh, I was 14 when I had it. That was the one and only time I had Chick-fil-A waffle fries. But here's the thing, you guys. Like, I've been to Taco Bell, I've been to McDonald's, I've been to Burger King, just not Wendy's, not Arby's, and barely any Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. All right. Well, by 14, the rest of us was addicted to the waffle fries. So you out there and haven't tasted them for the first time. The rest of us was like trying to skip school to go get them waffle fries. But you go ahead, Devin. You go ahead. All right, let's get on to this next one. Because remember, we talked about this earlier in the week. We talked about Ronaldo. He got on the podium at the presser, and they had 2 bottles of Coca-Cola and then a bottle of water, and he moved the Coca-Cola bottles out of the frame and said agua, right? Because he said, this is what you drink after a game, you drink agua. Tom Brady commented on all that as well. A lot of the fans were upset because they said, no, he shouldn't have done that because Coca-Cola was the sponsor. And then by moving the Coca-Cola out of the way, that basically messed with the sponsorship. I think they might have been more right than I thought because I did not expect to see this. But great work, Christian. Remove Coca-Cola bottles in front of them. So Coca-Cola has lost $4 billion after Cristiano Ronaldo removed Coca-Cola bottles in front of him. Ronaldo's action resulted in the company stock prices dropping 1.6% within hours. That's a lot when you're talking about stock, bringing the market cap from 242 billion to 238 billion. That's the impact. So now you guys listen, every time you say this is great for you guys that say that these athletes should just play. No, they shouldn't, because if they actually believe in something, this is just in real time what your voice can mean. This is great. Coca-Cola is terrible. Let me just digress here for a second. If there's a substance in the world that you can pour on a battery to remove battery acid, probably shouldn't be putting it in your body. Y'all do with that what you want. I'm just telling you, my dad has cleaned off many of batteries with Coca-Cola. So I don't think that's how that's supposed to go. But let's move on because now it's time to get into what we not gonna do. This one started out very innocent. I don't like this. Long story short is I don't like this narrative. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't true. I'm saying that I spent about 20 minutes this morning trying to find someone else to confirm or deny this situation. I've only found this one reporter who posted this. And we all know that Lamar Jackson has received a lot of criticism throughout his career that he can't really throw a deep ball. He just, he's kind of these dime shots here and there. So in practice, apparently, he did something that's the exact opposite of that, which would be great because you want to see him in practice. We just saw that Cam Newton video that made him look terrible, but even though there was other footage, but apparently he threw a nice 50-yard pass. So I want you to take a look at this tweet. This is how it started. It all started pretty innocent. Lamar Jackson made his best throw of the spring, hitting Sammy Watkins along the sideline on a pass that went 50 yards in the air and hit Watkins in stride. That is dope because that is something we know he needs to work on. Watkins, who beat Marlon Humphrey on that throw, had a strong day as well. So this is great. Reading something like that, you really are impressed with this moment in time for Lamar Jackson because you know this is something that he struggled with. But I'm exactly like this next user. I'm like, okay, why are you telling us about this? If you were there, I know you got video of this. So this guy says, so we not gonna get the video? And this is where things kind of go haywire. He's Jamison Hensley, who's the reporter, says media is no longer allowed to film Lamar Jackson throwing the ball to receivers. Is this true? I went to the Ravens website. I went to their Twitter page. I went to Lamar Jackson's. I went to Baltimore, their sports news site. I didn't see anybody say that media was no longer allowed to film Lamar Jackson because that's a big thing. Now, we know Lamar Jackson's had a ton of bad press. I think there was that one reporter or commentator that lost his job because he said when Lamar Jackson held the ball, you couldn't see it because of his complexion. He's gotten a ton of bad press. So on one side, I wouldn't be totally opposed to the Ravens saying this. Like, nah, you ain't about to come in here and make our quarterback feel bad. We know that we're working on these things. And so does Lamar. Lamar had this long quote about them working on this. He knew that this was something that they needed to work on. And so he said that. He said, we've been working, not just me, all the quarterbacks and receivers. We've been getting together and trying to make that big emphasis for us this year. People are always saying we throw short, intermediate routes and stuff like that, like a 5 or 10 yard routes. We had some chances last year. We hit some of them, but we just trying to be more consistent this year. That's where the strides happen. It starts in practice and hopefully it transitions to the game. Just got to keep working on it. Okay. That doesn't sound to me like a guy who's not aware that this is a problem. That's a guy that sounds to me that not only does he know it's a problem, his coaches know it's a problem, and they're all working together to try to make him a deep, viable passer. Why all this? The fact that it's just one reporter that said this is bothering me because I'm telling you, I spent 20 minutes trying to find anybody to confirm this. What I found was a ton of news sites just running with this one person. There's other reporters there at this training, and this is the only guy who said that. What we're not going to do is take the word, and I'm not saying this man is lying. Let me be clear. I'm not saying that he's lying, but what we're not going to do is take the word of one reporter when there was other reporters there and they didn't say it. That's number one. And number two, if it is true, what I'm not going to do is probably be mad at the Ravens because while it's a learning curve when you're trying to correct something that you've never done and trying to level up in that way. And what you don't want is a video that what we saw of Cam Newton out there floating around. So I'm just going to go ahead and say either way, what we're not going to do is take the word of one lone reporter. And number two, what we're not going to do is get mad if the Ravens are trying to protect their quarterback from a media circuit that has been very critical of him in the past, especially when he's trying to learn something new and we're trying to build up that confidence. So either way, I get this, but no, one lone guy saying this, I need more information. I'll try to let y'all know tomorrow if I found any more. But right now, what we're not going to do is believe one dude named Jamison. No, not.
I think that's fair, Jackie. I think that that's a fair way to go about it. Well, you guys, we are wrapping up the show early today. Jackie and Kevin Pryor are going to be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. They will still be doing Fan or Foe, so if you have anything that you want to say, that you want to be addressed, go ahead and leave that in the chat or in the comment section below. And I'll be back on Monday, you guys, and I can't wait to see you then. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Tune into the show and have a great Thursday. Bye, everybody.
We're marching through the bush. On and
On
on.
and on we push.
Mm.
The thick of it. So we can't see where we're going.